Hi there, crafty friends. Welcome and thank you for joining me. Today, I thought we would make another card using Spellbinders 12 Days of Stitchmas. This is day 9, and I realize we're going out of order, but I had another look at my die set here, and I really like the cupcake. And I wanted to make a card that is not necessarily for the holidays. We are going to make an everyday card using this die set. This is a 9-piece die set. I've already got all my pieces cut out. And to make it a holiday cupcake, you get the berries and then the leafy images, your holly leaves. But we are not going to use the 2 leaf images. I cut my berries out of Cosmic Sky cardstock so we can use them as blueberries instead of red berries. I've got my cupcake liner cut out. I did an outline and then I did the stitched portion. For my frosting, I did those out of truffle. I've got one here that's just the outline, and then I did one that punches out the little circles for stitching, but I'm just going to leave those in. We're not going to stitch the frosting. And then I've got my cake, and I did that out of alabaster. I'm using all Spellbinders cardstock, and I wanted a vanilla cupcake with chocolate frosting. So let's get started on our stitching. So I've pulled some blue floss that was just in my kit from previous add-ons, and we are just going to run this through. We need to make sure that we tape it down, and I'm just going to make sure that is stuck really well to the back. And normally we would go up and down, up and down, up and down, but I'm going to try to conserve my floss a little bit. Instead of coming back down to the bottom, I'm just going to cut right over to the top, that very next hole. Then I'll come down to the bottom, and then I'll just come back across over here. And that will conserve our thread some. So now we'll just come back on the top, go down to the bottom, and then we'll just come into that next hole. This is our last hole. And that just kind of conserved on our thread a little bit instead of always going up and down. I'm just going to run that through there, and we will tape this end down. And we are already done with our stitching. So now I will just glue these 2 pieces together. Now we can glue our frosting pieces, and I left those little stitching holes in there because I kind of thought they looked a little bit like chocolate chips. So I actually want to make sure that I get glue on each of those little holes so they don't pop out. And we can stack that piece. We can let these dry. And let's add a little bit of shading to our blueberries. So I'm going to be using Pink Fresh Stargazer for that. And I just want a little bit more color. Just going to add some shading on one side only. I will have everything used today listed and linked in the description. And that's perfect. That's all we need, just a little bit of shading. Then we can go ahead and glue these to our bunch of blueberries. And I'm just making sure that I put the little indentation in the same place. We can set that off to the side to dry. Let's go ahead and add our frosting to our cake. This comes together so quickly. Oh my goodness. You could mass produce this card so easily. Then we can add our liner. And we'll set that aside to dry. So now we can start assembly on our card. I have a top folding card base, and I am bringing in this press plate. I loved this press plate when I saw it, but I never got the chance to use it. So we will be using this, but first I wanted to show you, look at that dry embossed impression. I am just in love with that without any ink on it at all. That is so pretty. We will be using the press plate, and this is actually currently on sale. This is on clearance on a Spellbinders website, and it is half off. So I thought, you know what, we better use it while we can. And I hot foiled that in, which color was that? This is cobalt blue foil. And let's go ahead and peel that off. Looks like I'm upside down. And I just love that. That is so pretty. I really want to color this image, but for today, we're just making it a very simple, quick birthday card. I am going to take the second from largest out of my Hero Arts Infinity dies and cut this out. So it is a 4 by 5 1/4. I've got foam tape behind my panel here. Let's get that added to our card base. And if you were ever eyeing this press plate, now is the time to get it. It is half off. So we've got that already. Let's take a look at our cupcake. And I want to get foam squares behind that. And those are the thicker foam squares. So let's figure out where we want our blueberries. And I think right about in there is going to be good, but we need a little bit of foam behind that one blueberry that sticks out. I'm just going to trim that foam square down a little bit, and I'm going to actually double this one. I am going to use a thick one and a thin one, just a small piece of it. That way we've got even dimension. We can add our blueberries, and I'm not going to put them right in the center. I'm going to kind of put them off to the side. Then we can add our cupcake to our panel, and I'm just going to try to center that as much as I can. Try to get him straight. So for my sentiment, I'm using Best Wishes, and this came from the Curved Everyday Sentiments, and this is retired. There's some great sentiments in here. Birthday wishes, so happy for you, to the happy couple, happy retirement, welcome baby. And I just love this. It is retired, but I was able to find it on Spellbinders Amazon site, and it is reduced a lot right now. I think it was about $22 and it is down to 15. So that is a great deal if you are looking for that set. Let's go ahead and add our sentiment, and I will add a little bit of liquid glue to my glue dots just because we're going on that floss, that thread, and I want to make sure that it sticks really well. That's perfect. Now all I need to do is add a few embellishments. And that card is done. My embellishments are added. I used some matte gold pearls, and also I brought in some of my Honeybee Celebration pearl stickers, and I added those to my cupcake, and I think this came out perfect. Super quick, super easy, but it is still very nice because we've got that foiled background, we've got our foiled sentiment, and our stitched cupcake. We used our holiday berries and turned them into blueberries, and I think it came out perfect. I did do one in pink. I've got the gold, matte gold foil, and then I turned that berry into a cherry, and that is just so cute. Super simple. Another idea for that cupcake. Thank you so much for joining me. Please give me a thumbs up. Please leave me a comment, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.